There is an eighth dimension beyond that which is known to normies. It is a dimension as vast as the planes and as timeless as the directional pad. It is the middle ground between reality and fantasy, between science and imagination, and it lies between the pit of man's rage and the summit of his elation. This is the dimension of imagination, action, and wonder. It is an area we call the gaming experience, and we shall be your guides. I'm Not Much 23.
And I'm Chaos Assassin.
And this is Gamer Experience. Can you believe we're already starting our fourth season?
No, I can't. I honestly, I like in last episode, I didn't think we'd get this far. I really didn't.
Oh,
But I do have fun with this.
like that one SpongeBob meme with Plankton. It's like, "But what are you going to do now?" I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far.
Exactly. So memory serves today, we are doing some character stories
Finally.
because well, it's been a while. We don't exactly have people sending us a bunch in. Don't think we have any on our Gmail. We do have one sent in by a listener. Kind of had to twist his arm to get him to write it, but he wrote it finally. I do have good news for our listeners that actually end up remembering the fact that we are streamers. About a week or two ago, I did do a raft stream. I'm actually starting to stream more because my schedule's opened up more enough to where I can start streaming again. Later this week, I plan on either doing more of the raft stream or doing. Let me bet. Trying to remember what I was doing. Radical Red Pokemon.
You know, by the time this is live, that week is probably as would have already passed.
You know, that just dawned on me. I'm gonna start streaming at least once a week. Okay,
Okay.
try.
And
I'm leaning towards Fridays
where are you going to be streaming?
on Twitch on my channel. Literally, Chaos Assassin on Twitch
Okay.
because I don't know how to stream on YouTube just yet.
That's fine. I still have shitty internet, so I can't stream.
Hey, eventually you'll get good stuff, right?
Yeah, when Terra finally lays some fiber out here.
I know, right? Anyways, let's get into some of these character stories because you said you had one, so let's hear the one that you have, good sir.
Well, the campaign is, I by this point, is falling apart because the guy who ran it actually did it a little differently. Instead of being heroes fighting monsters, we are the monsters. And it has special point buy and everything, but in this game we have two forms. One is our monster powerful form, the other is just like a pretty weak, like 10 hit point normal form. Yeah, a lot of others have like Dragon, Warforge, cool stuff for their monster form. My monster form is a medium sized house cat, and normal form is a small sized house cat. Pretty stealthy though. But we have
I can see a cat being a monster. They're always trying to kill you. They always try to trip you exactly when you're heading towards the stairs. Every time.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked it. I just picked it, but we're sort of based around a tower, and we have to go out and get magical items to feed the tower. Our last one made the area around the tower, like a forest and stuff, die. So it was attracting attention, and some people from the either Adventurers Guild, were going to investigate, and somebody from some local priesthood was putting these jars of glowing like holy liquid around in holes around the tower, trying to like seal it or something. Well, they were handling them very carefully. And of course, in the house cat form, my character goes in, and nobody really cares because nobody really pays much attention to a house cat. But there were some on the table. And of course, I was role playing a cat, so I just started pushing and knocked one off the table. That's what cats do. Well, there's a reason everybody else was handling them so carefully. It was pretty much like a magical, holy nitroglycerin. The liquid in the jar that I knocked over blew up, triggering the other ones around it, and then triggering all of them around the tower.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I was kind of laughing as it happened. Then the GM started rolling dice, and Cat barely survived. Barely.
Hey, that's why cats have 9 lives, right?
Yeah, I think you just used like six of them there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I like that. I'm now intrigued of no, y'all are the monsters. Y'all have to protect y'all's basically y'all's dungeon from adventures. I like the concept of that. I might have to do something like that.
Yeah, you haven't even had a point buy system with a certain number of like monster points or evolution points or something we have. One of the reasons that plays is collapsing because actually getting played, he has to go through and reevaluate all that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I love the concept of it though.
yeah,
That's a fun concept.
yeah.
It's like the concept of the oh no. Y'all are playing the villagers and y'all have to deal with the economy of it, the fact of ventures coming in, giving the missions, outside threats. Y'all have to figure all that out. I mean that's a dumber down version of it. Oh no, you just have to do the but like I like the concept of doing some of those things.
Okay.
So let's get to this viewer story that we have sent to us by Normal Sheet. He asked us to refer to him as Norm because he wants to think he's normal. So, so I was doing a pirate campaign for Pathfinder. I decided to do an armor hulked barbarian who specialized in overrun maneuver. We were at 8 level at the time, so at first it was a simple kill the pirates trying to raid us before before they can board our ship. I jumped onto theirs after killing one of their buffer guys, a barbarian. A spellcaster came up from below the deck and cast confusion on me. Big mistake on them because my party just stayed on the other ship. And in the meantime, I ran over everyone on the ship, avoiding attacks because AC of 28, touch of 24, flat footed 22. Also, sometimes babbling like an idiot, my damage output was around 25 to 34 on average. And I could overrun until he fails. Busted character, and he goes on to say the fact the friend made him make a Gestalt version, and the friend was me. Because I wanted to have this overrun character in my campaign as an NPC, and we realized no, the party is not going to fight it.
Hmm. I don't blame them.
The story's kind of short because he wrote it in like 5 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
But he has told me about this story, and basically he gets such bonuses to overrun that as long as he can make the check, he can keep moving and keep overrunning as long as people are within a certain distance of each other. So his is a barbarian. When we made it Gestalt, we added, I forget what fighter we did, but we added a fighter archetype on top of it. And for those who don't know what Gestalt is, you basically take 2 levels at the same time, taking the best of both classes and keep going. So if you went like a barbarian wizard, you take the barbarian's hit points, but you take the wizard's skill per ranks, and you'd also take the wizard's like will save, barbarian's con, but you get all of the class skills for both classes. It's better for more experienced players and those who want a higher power game. But when we built him, we turned it into level 20. He had like a plus 40, 50 something just to overrun.
Ooh.
And that's before he rolled the die. And for every consecutive overrun, he'd still be he'd only be taking a -2 up to a -8. Like, I don't remember how we did it, but he could just keep overrunning. Like it was insane.
Yeah, and Pathfinder, you don't need cars to run people's asses over.
Nope.
Just a barbarian.
Out when we were gonna have it as the party needed to ride the train, and we were gonna name the character because it wasn't gonna be the exact character but inspired. We were gonna name him Train.
Hmm.
They had to watch out for the train that goes through the town.
Yeah, yeah, that.
Basically, the Juggernaut.
Yeah, it'd take Colossus to fight him.
Immovable object versus unstoppable force. Um, I do have something that I wanted to share because I want our viewers' opinion on it. So I was watching an anime a little bit ago, and I want to make an item based off of what I saw. Most people know how holy water works, right? Damages undead, even if they're incorporeal and stuff. But unless you have a magical item, you can't hit them, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you take a vial of holy water, tie a rope to it, and started swinging it like a mace or something, and you hit a ghost with it. It'll just go straight through the ghost, wouldn't it? Because it's not
Mm,
magical, except for the holy water that's inside the vial.
makes sense to me.
Basically, a holy water mace that works especially well on incorporeal undead.
Hmm.
Going in the anime, they then opened it up and hey, look, we have sherbet ice cream.
I
Not sure
think
how that works, but okay.
I think that'd be more of a flail than a mace.
Oh yeah, flail. Sorry.
But I think everybody gets the picture.
Yeah, I saw that name. It's like I kind of like that idea. That's a valid chain of logic. If it's incorporeal, it can go through solid objects other than things with ghost touch, but it's still affected by like holy water. Why not?
And you can send your opinions on that item to gamersperience@gmail.com, all lowercase, or at gamersperience on X, formerly known as Twitter. Our DMs are open.
You can also send what y'all think on our Discord. Which, in
Yes,
order to get to our Discord, how do they find our Discord?
I have an invite link that I set to never expire on our pinned post.
What about people who don't have X, formerly known as Twitter? Do we have do we have a link on it on our YouTube channel?
Let me check real quick.
Because that's one of those things that I do know some people they don't have X. If they want to try to send us stuff and don't have an email for some unknown reason, maybe they could get a hold of us on Discord.
Yes, I do have one in the description of our videos.
And our YouTube channel is the Gamer Experience Podcast, correct?
No, Gamer
It's
Experience
just
Podcast. No,
okay.
the.
All right. There you have it, folks. Uh, have we
And
gotten any emails?
gotten offers from Spotify and stuff, but nothing in from Good Pods that we made like the top 90 in like the gaming, an indie gaming of all time. But that's it.
Wonder what our offer on for Spotify was.
Premium for $0 for like 3 months.
Oh, lovely.
Give it one last check. No.
Dang. Okay. So, character stories. Let's see. Do I have any? It's been so long since I've played. Um. I'm trying to think of if I could think of any off the top of my head. I could tell about how I made my barbarian Zeus.
Go right ahead.
So, in Pathfinder, especially in the earlier seasons of society, there was, the summoner before the unchained summoner. And anybody who's played both summoners know exactly how busted regular summoner is versus the unchained. I was still new to the game. I had made a skald. His name was Marvok. He was a half orc, and I had just leveled him up to 2. I was having fun with him. Well, in this scenario, we had to fight somebody who had a summoner with an Eidolon. Well, the Eidolon went first, walked up to Marvok because Marvok was the closest of the party, and went for a slam attack and crit.
Ooh.
He killed Marvok outright. Max HP, he went through that and through my con. Max roll on a crit from an Eidolon.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I was level 2, but even still, that hurt. So I decided to make Marvok's brother, technically half brother, but they didn't care, a human barbarian named Zeus. Zeus, all he got from the report was his brother was killed by a spellcaster. So he went hunting for all spellcasters to see if any of the spellcasters knew who killed his brother. Because obviously all spellcasters know each other.
Hmm.
Didn't matter if you were a spellcaster of the divine or the arcane or even the occult. He did not care. And if you didn't answer his questions, he'd probably kill you. I've had to make atonements for him a couple of times, but as of now, he has come to terms with his brother's death, has learned that not all spellcasters are bad. Some of them can make him have some real fun. Those who can cast enlarge on him, which is a terrible idea because he is an intimidating barbarian wielding a scythe. I built him for it. While he doesn't hit as hard as other barbarians, or he can get his heat hit easier than other barbarians as well, he makes up for it in the amount of penalties he can apply to an opponent. I can make you shaken, demoralized, sickened, and I forget what the other ones are. But I can make you from going to have a plus 20 to hit people to like a plus 12, which those who play know that's a huge difference. Believe he's actually my highest level character right now, and I have no idea where he is because him, like similar to my monk, the very first character I made in Pathfinder, like disappearing on me.
Mm. Well, if we're talking about the first characters we made for Pathfinder Society, my first one I made, we're still relatively new to Pathfinder, was, of course, a cleric because the party I was going to be playing, run by a GM who is very not liked
He's
within.
a very lethal GM.
Yes.
Huh?
Fortunately, she's still alive, but needed a healer. I made one. Of
Hey,
course,
it works.
usually need time to feel out and play a character before I know what they're like. She's pretty passive, honestly.
Nothing wrong with a passive cleric.
Though clerics of Serenray are supposed to be more active and combat focused, but in Pathfinder, clerics aren't like D&D 5e, and you literally have to build a cleric to be either effective in combat or support, not both. At least as far as I knew then, because I only had the core rulebook.
You can make one of both, but it's it's not going to be as effective as somebody who's focused solely on one or the other.
Yeah, at first she was solely focused on one until I hit ninth level. It's like, you know what? I'm tired of having to run from combat. Multi-class into
Into
Brawler.
odd choice. Why?
Because Brawler's a more versatile martial class. And I
And with
think,
martial flexibility, if
yeah,
you are fighting something that is fighting you all in darkness or something or invisible, you can take blind fight easier. Yeah, no, it makes you versatile. Not bad.
and you actually told me about like a fighting style that's more defensive. So now my first character, Maija, I know that's mispronunciation of the Finnish name Maya, but in her back I sort of retconned and included it in her backstory. She is now a cleric brawler with brawler's flurry that can actually go crane style.
Hey, it works.
And I mean, earlier in the campaign, she actually had her scimitar taken away because she wasn't. She was more dangerous to herself with it than to anybody else. I think she'll be going to be getting it back.
Well, my first character, me and my dad were playing a lot of Diablo 3 at the time that he tried to get me to play Pathfinder. And the character I was really having fun with in Diablo 3 was the monk. We have a running joke of by the power of guitar. That monk in Diablo 3 is beyond broken. I can't even get to enemies the most of the time before they die because I just have that much, aura damage and everything else. It's not okay. But I decided I want to make a monk because I've played monks in the past in D&D. I enjoyed them, and it I didn't feel like doing a rogue at the time. So I made a dwarf monk, and I named him Daruana because I can't think of original names, and I have to make concepts and gimmicks for everything because I'm that kind of a toxic player.
Mm,
Definitely don't have any inspiration for my archer named Robin of
no,
Lockley from the Hood.
not at all.
Probably my most notable character actually is Robin. Although
Yeah,
Toto might give decent run for their money.
You've mentioned both a few times.
Well, of all my characters, this is the ones I have most fun with. And so I made a dwarf fighter. Last time I checked, they're level 9. It's nothing big, it's nothing broken because I was still new to it. But he's one of those that I really enjoy playing. I don't get to play him often because I lost him for a year and a half because I swapped from one binder to another and I ran out of binder sheets. And we were playing a lot of low level characters, so I just set my higher level character somewhere and then they got moved and then I lost them. I did find him again. I think he's in my binder. I have no idea where Zeus is though.
Hmm.
I got more organized as I learned to play. But one of the first games I vividly remember is one of my favorite missions. Um, we ended up getting in there, and we walked into a room, and the statues came alive. Our fighter went to hit it with his sword, and his sword broke.
Ooh.
And so the fighter no longer had a weapon because the one of the abilities of the statues is, oh, you hit me with a weapon, well, I'm gonna do damage to your weapon. I think they're carrion statues, I want to say is the name of the creature. Real nasty little creatures, similar to like a rust thing. Unarmed strikes have no effect, they don't deal damage to me. So it was left to me, the wizard, and the archer to fight these because the fighter couldn't do anything. I ended up killing, I think it was 3 of the 4 statues because I just sat there and just flurried. That was one of the first games that I actually really enjoyed and learned. Oh, monks are actually pretty strong because when the first time as I played him, I wasn't able to do anything to the enemies because the rest of the party killed them faster than I could get to them, which is funny for a monk.
Yeah.
But he's probably, you can tell by looking at him and any of my earlier level or earlier numbered characters. You can tell like where I've gone and how much better I've gotten as making characters and just playing the game. I am hoping that with the new year, I can actually get my game started back up, as well as Norm, who is going to try to be a GM. He was going to run a game. That way, I have a chance to play. I'm hoping we can actually get the games set up and maybe run. With the holidays, it's really hard because every other week somebody's got family things because of the holidays, so we kind of just put everything on the back burner.
Well, at least my Starfinder campaign is still going.
Well, that's a plus.
Mainly started as a way to play test my missions, but then when they play, they got beyond that. But mainly, this is for me to gain experience as a GM.
Oh, hey, that's all you can do is gain experience. It's not something you could just say, "Ooh, I'm just going to do this" and pick it up right off the bat.
Yeah. Of course, I asked one of my players what he thought about the game, and one of the things he mainly had to say is that he could tell I was new, but and then we both agree that it's like the only way I'm gonna actually gain experience is by running games.
Yeah, that's the only way to gain experience.
Yeah.
Um, I still do like the fact of the gift that you got me, the Gaslands car. Um,
Yes.
I am looking forward to trying this out. You have my roommate and even our neighbors uh, intrigued by it, so maybe we'll have some stories about Gaslands,
Yeah.
which will
For,
be interesting.
for those that don't know, Gaslands is a post-apocalyptic car combat tabletop game that uses like Hot Wheels and Matchbox size cars. And of
Basically,
course,
Mad Max.
yeah, but Gaslands revolves around like a television show.
Oh,
And you move the cars with templates, you roll dice and stuff. I'm sure you can. I know there's videos of it being played on YouTube.
there is a game that I would like to acquire the books for and try to run because it is one of my favorite games. There is a Fallout tabletop version.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Uh, I do plan on trying to save up the money and getting the books, and I'm going to attempt to figure out, okay, how do we play? And if so, I would like you, not much, to join us in the wasteland.
I would actually like to join you in the wasteland.
If I can get everything set up, I actually plan on streaming that again at some point because I do enjoy Fallout, and I do have the other Fallouts now. So I plan on doing a blind run of okay, how far can I get, and how screwed am I going to be?
Hmm.
And I do want people to look forward to that on my streams. I want to try to get at least once a week a stream out. And people who've watched my streams before, when I say I'm gonna stream for like 4 to 6 hours.
Oh, I just remembered a story about Maja.
Oh, go on, tell. We are in character stories, not me rambling on.
Yeah. Um, there's this one Pathfinder Society scenario, first edition, where one of the first big combat we were fighting black puddings, which are a type of ooze. And of course, when they hit you, they deal acid damage to whatever, like the armor you're wearing and stuff. And of course, she had a breastplate, but she wore it under her, like, a traveler's outfit. Of course, she wasn't as really combat capable at the time, so she was getting hit. She got grappled, needs another caster to cast freedom of movement so she can escape. But then somebody pointed out that it should have been doing damage. And it's like at that point, her traveler's outfit just like finally gave up and fell off, leaving her in her breastplate, camisole, and bloomers. And now she always carries an extra set of clothes.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if, well, I don't know how exciting of a story or funny that was, but
But no,
it's,
that does bring up a valid point. As far as sparked a few things in my head. So everybody knows Robin, my archer.
yeah.
The entire reason, most people don't realize it, but I actually have him multi-classed into one level of wizard. He got tired of looking at the spellcasters and asking them, hey, what spell did they just throw at us? That was a giant explosion of fire. What was it? Oh, we don't know. What do you mean you don't know? We don't know. He got really tired of always having to ask the spellcasters, hey, what'd they throw at us? Hey, what are they casting? Is that bad? Do I need to deal with that now, or do I need to deal with the big guy? Like what? He got tired of people not being able to tell him. So he decided to go and learn. He went to, and I had him take a level of wizard to learn spellcraft as well as other knowledges that he was lacking. So he can then attempt to determine, oh, that giant explosion, that was fireball. I don't like fireball. I know it doesn't do much to me, but it hurts my party, so I can't let you be casting that. And because of that, he actually was able to learn better indications of, oh, that's a spellcaster. I'm gonna save my shot for when they start to cast. I'm then gonna shoot them.
Because he knows how long it takes to cast certain spells.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Which is funny because we had a GM who did not like the idea of a non-caster taking spellcraft. Even though he took a rank in spellcraft, because it wasn't a class skill, they wanted to argue the fact of he shouldn't be able to learn that. That's when we found out that you do not have to take things that are class skill only.
No. And in society, you must run rules as written.
Yep. But it's one of those things of it it's why he has that level of wizard. He fought a few golems that arrows don't do anything to. So in response, he's gotten golem bane arrows as well as adamantium tipped arrows. Just for the fact of dealing with things that he's run into that he doesn't want to have issues with again. Has he run into golems since he got the golem thing? No.
Of course not.
But he even has a swarm clasp. So he can technically shoot a swarm of a swarm because his attacks go through it. Goes through the swarm's DR and stuff.
Nice.
Now explain how an arrow hitting a swarm of bees is actually damaging the swarm. I don't know.
Hits enough bees as the arrow goes through, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess. But he's grabbed items, and that's the one thing I like in society that you don't necessarily realize until you actually think about it, there's a lot of things that people do that they do because they find and fight a lot of things. Like most fighters, they have, one or two different weapons of different properties because yeah, their main weapon's a longsword. Longsword doesn't do much versus, skeletons. Hence why they have the mace. That way they can still deal with skeletons. But that's something that, hey, that's a form of character development and growth.
Yeah, like my pure, well, actually no, I don't have a pure brawler. My brawler rogue actually got like cold iron and adamantine knuckles. So she can put those on and punch things and actually certain things like Fey and golems and stuff and actually do damage.
hmm it's really interesting on even now when I build characters, I make sure they have ways of dealing with, certain creatures. The one that I always forget is swarms.
Fuck swarms.
If you really don't like swarms and don't want to sit there and buy, a bunch of alchemist fire, invest in a Swarmbane clasp. It makes you immune to the swarm's distraction and allows you to bypass the swarm's DR versus things so you can still hit swarms.
That is a very good idea.
Mhm.
You have anything else?
Not off the top of my head. I really don't.
Well, again, this is probably going to be another short episode to start the year,
No, that's typically what we do at the start of the year, shorter episodes.
we did come back to the character stories.
Yeah. We
And
just, due to the fact that I'm not playing as much, I don't have as much stories. Not much. He's getting more stories, but he doesn't always think his stories are worth telling. Even though I tell him, "Hey, people want to hear it. We need you guys as listeners. Send us your stories, even if you don't think they're good. Send them in."
gamersperience at gmail.com. That's GamerSperience at gmail.com, as in Google's mail service. At Gamersperience on Discord or even YouTube, Gamersperience Podcast.
Which has a
Or,
link to our Discord.
yes, also our X profile at Gamersperience.
We have multiple ways that y'all can reach out, and
And
we want y'all to reach out. We want
like,
to hear other stories.
well, actually, there was somebody that actually commented on our last episode on YouTube.
Really now?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the comment real quick.
Hopefully, it's not a hateful comment.
No, it wasn't. It was a question.
Oh,
Yeah, 5488309. Here's a question: are the things you guys talk about too niche to grasp the attention of bigger audiences? And I replied, I don't know for sure, but I suspect so. Again, thank you for the question.
yeah. I'm trying to figure out what they mean by niche and larger audiences, because there's all sorts of things that people like and enjoy talking about as far as it comes with things with when it comes to Pathfinder, D&D, any sort of the games. I'm wondering if what they mean is the fact that maybe what we think about when it comes to those games, people don't think about. So it's not really grasping, maybe?
Or, yeah, maybe just the area we've gone in is just too specialized.
Maybe.
Well, I'm over here thinking it's just a little too general, maybe. Again, what do you listeners think?
Yeah.
And don't forget, we also have a Patreon. We don't
Oh,
have a.
yeah, we do have a Patreon, don't we?
Yes, we do. Don't have any paid members yet, so you can be the first.
I don't know. Most people are broke in this economy.
Yeah, but I'm hoping the economy will turn around, especially once energy gets cheaper and gas prices
Hopefully.
go down. Then I
Who
can
knows?
actually then I can actually afford to drive over to your place more than once a month and play Fallout.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take me a bit to get everything, but I do plan on hopefully getting it, and I really looking forward to being able to, play Fallout.
Yeah, then maybe we can have some more character stories and more character
hmm
stories episodes.
Yeah.
Or if you want more of them, again, send us your stories.
Hmm. I'm st- I still like one of the first people that sent us a character story. I still have that ingrained in my head of basically pulling a journey to the center of the earth kind of gimmick, a world under the world, without
Yeah,
being the Underdark.
yeah, I really like that story.
Hmm.
And with that, I'm not much 23.
And I'm Chaos Assassin.
And this is Gamer Experience. And as always, we invite you to have your own gamer experience.